Watching Guava Island is what I wish I felt after watching Lemonade. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my review of Guava Island by Childish Gambino. I don't even know what my channel is about anymore. Is this a review channel? Is that what this is? Is this just a review channel? Comedy videos will be coming back. I need to get on it. Let's get into this review of Guava Island. So did you guys watch Guava Island? I did. I watched it twice. I'm an Amazon Prime member, so I was able to see it for free. I think it's a limited showing. I believe it debuted Thursday somewhere, and then it became available for Prime members on Saturday. And it was available today as well, so I watched it. And I have to say, I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought it was a new movie by Donald Glover starring him and Rihanna, and it wasn't. It was more so like a music video or a short film. It was only 55 minutes, but it was exactly as long as it needed to be to tell the story that it wanted to tell. The opening scene of just the animation and Rihanna's voiceover explaining the mythology of Guava Island, the 7 gods, the 7 lands, and the 2 dueling truths, it added a little context to where we weren't supposed to assume that Guava Island was any one island in the Caribbean or any one culture, but sort of a mashup and a mix of all those cultures. And again, the animation in that beginning, I was just like, can this A, be a book, a children's book? B, can this be a show on kids, baby kids first show? Toon Kids or Disney, not Disney, Disney would ruin it. Wish that I had something like that growing up to watch or to read. So I'm going to break this down into a couple of sections. We're going to talk about story, we're going to talk about the film and the direction, and we're going to talk about the imagery, the acting, and the visuals and the fashion. So it was directed by Hiro, I can't pronounce his last name, but it's like he's Japanese. He's also the person who directed This Is America, the music video. I didn't know there was going to be songs in it. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. And I was just sucked in from the very beginning. In the voiceover that Rihanna gives in the beginning, she talks about wanting something new, wanting more than just survival. And I thought that so many people around the world can recognize that sentiment. The dream that Demi had, which is Donald Glover's character, is a small dream, but it was a dream that would have had a huge impact on the people of Guava, and it was to write a song that would unite the people and make them feel free for at least one day. So the story revolves around a couple. We have Kofi, which is Rihanna's character, and we have Demi, which is Donald Glover's character. Demi doesn't want to leave the island. He just wants the island and the people to be happy. Kofi, who's like, we're never going to change it. Let's get out of here and let's leave. So we have 2 people who are in love, who have known each other since childhood, who have different ideas of how they want their life to be. Demi is decided that he is going to throw a festival on Saturday so that people don't go to work on Sunday, because the people of Guava work 7 days a week. Demi's idea is to do this festival, and so everybody's behind him because he's on the radio sometimes, but he also works on the dock. So they know him, he's a musician, and him throwing this festival is going to make it so that people can't go to work the next day. And so he gets called into the office by the big boss, and the big boss tells him that to cancel the festival and gives him some money and kind of threatens, you know, his girlfriend Kofi and his way of life, and sends Demi on his way. And he thinks about it, but something changes his mind and he decides that he is going to go forward with the festival even though his life and his livelihood has been threatened. And so that is the main story of Guava Island. He's on his way to work and he's having a conversation with a coworker, and the coworker's like, you know, Demi, you're never going to change the way people behave. You're never going to change the island. And he's like, it's not like I want to change the island a whole lot. I just think that we live on a beautiful island and we should have some time to enjoy it and the means to enjoy it, and we just do not. He's around everybody and they've all got these red jumpsuits on with numbers on the back, like, you know, indicating that they're just a number. And he is talking to another coworker who is like, you know what, I'm saving my money to go to America. And Demi says, this is America. America is a concept. It's in your mind. You could do that here. All of a sudden, just like in the music video Bad, you know, Donald Glover starts to sing the same way Michael Jackson starts to sing a cappella, and then there's like a ho, and then the music starts. And I was like, way to give homage to Michael Jackson in that moment. And then there's this moment in it where Donald Glover has to stop him from calling, I guess, the boss. Donald Glover's like, shh. And it's this weird moment. The first time I watched it, I didn't know what was going on. And I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, he's stopping him from snitching. And so then the music picks up back again and they start to dance and do stuff. And then Donald Glover's character, Demi, gets taken away and sent to the big boss. Another part of the story that I really enjoyed is the festival. The festival where everyone is wearing blue because blue means something to the people of Guava. The island mainly makes their money off of export, and it's the export of this blue fabric that a specific worm, silkworm on the island of Guava produces. During this festival that he throws, everybody's got their blue on in different types, different colors, different fashions. I mean, it's just so much happening. It's beautiful. He says to the audience, be as free as you can possibly be tonight. And my heart broke because I'm just like, these are people who are still seemingly very happy, but still are underneath the tyranny of this family that basically owns the island, and the tyranny of poverty and the tyranny of isolation. They are very behind in the times there. I don't see any cell phones, you know, telephones are old school telephones with cords on them, and even the technology as far as the radio goes and the radio stations is very, very like 70s is what it's giving me. So the next topic I want to talk about is the direction in the film. First, this was filmed on actual film. It was gritty. At first I thought something was wrong with my TV and I was like, what? I'm watching this in 4K. I don't understand what's going on. And it's not even filling the whole screen. It's just filling like a square on the TV. And I was just enamored from that point. I loved that direction choice. It really gave you that behind in the times or old school 70s feel that I just thought was beautiful. I loved that they depicted island life the way they did. I loved the corroded, like salt corrosion buildings. I loved the color that was there, but not there because of that corrosion. The depiction of island life, like in the beginning, after him and Rihanna have their first conversation of the morning, we have him getting up and rushing out of the house with his guitar and his bag, and he is going down like the riverbank or the stream side, and he is saying hello to everybody, and there are quick shots of shoe shining, of a horse, of a goat, of a man cutting meat, of a kitten hiding under, you know, fruit baskets. It just brings you into the world that we are all of a sudden thrust into. I also really loved the transitions. There are two major transitions that have percussion in them. There is the first one where a man is standing up against a building, a white building by a door, and he's playing what looks like upside down skillets. And so he's like ding, 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 with them. And it reminded me so much of the tortoise shells that gets played in my dad's country and my culture. And it just kind of this calypso, like Caribbean, like tinkering, and it gets faster and it gets faster and it gets faster, and then we cut to a new scene, and then there's another transition that's very same, except for it's 2 men and they're actually playing a different type of percussion drum, and they're playing that and they're playing it and it crescendos and then it breaks, and then we transition into the third act. And I thought that was really great for two reasons. One, I love the fact that it looked like they were local drummers and local artists, allowing them to be a part of this process, because after all, they were filming in Cuba, by the way, and it was helpful for them to film in Cuba because Cuba still doesn't have places that have Wi-Fi. So a lot of the island doesn't have access to Wi-Fi, so they are living in sort of an analog world. Other thing I liked about it was just the culture aspect of it is that throughout this entire film, there is this island feel, this Caribbean feel, this Central American feel that is like indigenous and earthy, and drums and the heartbeat of family and life. And I loved it. Okay, so let's move on to the imagery. There was a lot of imagery in this. The one imagery, though, that sticks out to me is because I didn't understand it, and it's the blue bird. Demi sees the blue bird when he's in Red's office, also sees the blue bird when he has run away from the gunman. And I didn't understand what that meant, and the only thing I can think of is the blue bird was Demi's truth. Like, what is your truth? If you're living in your truth, then you're walking the right path. Do what you know is right and what you believe is your truth. And I thought that's the only thing I could think of it being, but that's what it meant for me. And I just felt like really inspired from that. The drums, again, was something else that, again, is the heartbeat of the land, of the earth, of your culture, of your heritage, and I really enjoyed that. And then another bit of imagery that I really liked was the old school radios. So at some point, right before Demi is going to announce whether or not the festival is going to be happening, there is shots of everyone listening to the radio. So we understand that this island and these group of people really stay connected, and the way they get their information is through the radio, which is why everybody loves and respects Demi, because he's on the radio. Or Denny, I think it's not Demi, it's Denny. The radio in the sweatshop with Rihanna and Letitia and the other women who are working for Red's factory, right? The sweatshop. And then we have children sitting at the bay, like with a fishing pole, listening to the radio. And then we have the men at the factory worker listening to the radio. Then we have the ladies washing clothes in the river, listening to the radio. And then we have Red listening to the radio in his office. It's this thing that connects everybody on the island. We also have old men sitting, looks like outside of a house, smoking a cigarette, in a rocking chair, listening to the radio, listening to Denny. And so it's just this thing that pieces together all different factions of the island and what everyone's doing at that time when this announcement is made. Also, I really liked Red's office. There was something about Red's office that really made me think of a diplomat's office in Belmopan. Like, I went to, Belmopan is the capital of Belize, and I went there to do some paperwork with my aunt, and it just felt like that. It was like open and airy, but light and bright, and just didn't feel like an official's office, but it was an official's office. Something that I really love about the Caribbean, something that I really love about Central America, is that there's this openness that you don't have here in the States, maybe in certain parts of the States, but no parts that I live in. It's just like, we want to let the sun in, we want to let the breeze flow through the house. It's like a feng shui or something that I really enjoyed. Also, sis wearing that red leather skirt, girl, yes, and that hair, whew, yes. But so then, since I said that, let's jump into the visuals and the fashion. I really loved the hair. Every woman had a different type of hairstyle that was indicative of Black culture all throughout the world. Rihanna had her giant plaits, like her messy braids, and I was like, I want me some messy braids. And there was just so many different hairstyles, the men and the women and everybody, head wraps, and people were just living their natural Black lives, which is kind of why I was like inspired to not wear a head wrap or to not wear a wig today, and I was just gonna do, my little natural that I've got going on right now. And it was just wonderful. I mean, Rihanna looked great. Rihanna had her head wrap on when she woke up. Donald Glover had his head wrap on when he woke up. And I was just like, I love this depiction of Black people just unabashedly being Black and like being allowed to live their lives. Even though, technically they really aren't allowed to live their lives without some kind of oppression. But just in that moment, that opening scene of her waking up and her walking through that hallway with the doors all being different types of fabrics, and going into the kitchen where he's sitting and playing, and he's got a head wrap on and he's relaxed, and they talk, and she looks beautiful. Girl, her titties, I don't know if they're real, but every time she was on screen, I was like, Rihanna's titties look great. And they are just so lofty. And so I'm just so happy for her. I just had to say it. Blue silk was everywhere. Like I said before, I love the saltwater corrosion, the color but no color, the sunshine, the poverty and the happy faces. There was something about that invoked a sense of like longing in me. I also enjoyed the fact that everyone had a different accent. So it felt like it was supposed to be island life, but it was all different accents. It felt like the people who were cast in this were from different Black nations from throughout the world. I really liked that. And I felt like Donald Glover tried to do a little bit of an accent in the beginning, but it didn't work. And so he ended up letting it go by the end. I also thought it was weird that Letitia Wright, who is the actress who played Suri in Black Panther, she was an American. I thought she was British. So not that I expected her to have a British accent. I guess I just wanted her to have another type of Black accent and not American. And, Rihanna was speaking in her normal speak. So sometimes it sounded very American English and sometimes it sounded very, Caribbean English. I felt that it represented a lot of different Black communities throughout the diaspora. And I was like, I like this. Shout out to Rihanna and Fenty Beauty. I'm wearing her Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipstick in honor. But stay woke, niggas creeping. Donald Glover is unabashedly himself, and that is something that I really like about him. He has these like weird moves where his eyes get really big and he's like doing body rolls, and I'm just like, that is so black boy joy, breaking the stereotype, being a black male. He's not all buff, like he's just like regular. He got a little taco meat on his chest, and I just am like, I feel like he's just being him, like living his black life, letting his hair grow, letting him, I don't know, just being who he is without feeling the stigma of what it means to be a black American male. And there's something so refreshing about it. Like, I just want to see more of him. Also, you guys, don't forget to check out my merch. I have merch. If you see it down below, please purchase something if you like it. And if there's something that you want to see or you wish that was in the store, please let me know so I can see if I can make it for you. Another part that I really loved was at the end during the funeral and the celebration of life and the celebration of this person who gave their life in order to give the people of Guava a day of rest. The cathartic moment of Rihanna meeting up with Red and telling him that we got our day. And she's in this beautiful mourning outfit where she's got a head wrap on that's blue and a veil that's blue, and her eyeliner is lovely, and you can really see her eyes pop through that blue veil. Like, that's how great that makeup was. And just the look and the feel of everybody being happy and celebrating, and her having to mourn and go through her life, but being able to at the end tell their child a different story because their father sacrificed himself for the greater good. I'm getting emotional now, like just like the little things that people do in order, the sacrifices that people and families make in order for people to be more free every year is so humbling and so overwhelming sometimes for me, because as you guys know, I love to talk about what's going on, and I feel like we're in a new civil rights in this country. And while I'm not somebody who will necessarily be out there on the streets, I still am very thankful for those who are out there on the streets, those who are fighting that fight and putting their lives on the line so that my children have better freedom, so that not only my children, my black children, but Asian children and Latino children and any immigrant of children that come to this country that are being told that they are less than and second-class citizens because they are not of the ruling class, they are not of the status quo, they are not a part of white supremacy. Those people that are on the ground make ways for everyone else. I felt like it was kind of like that. Like, he represented that thing that makes it so that the rest can thrive. Anyways, that's what I got out of it. What did you guys get out of it? I really hope that you were able to watch it. I think I got a lot out of it because I'm somebody who thinks like that, and it may not be that for you. Like I said, it was my Lemonade. I felt what I think people felt when they watched Lemonade. All right, you guys, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your comments down below if you saw Guava Island, and what did you think of it? Let me know what you got out of it. All right, you guys, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.